Welcome into PFF TV. I'm Cam Mellor, as always, with Eric Eager today. We're going to talk a little bit about our analytics. We're going to go a little bit more in depth. We just published a story on our website. We're talking about expected points added per play, specifically in the passing game. First off, let's talk a little bit about what that exactly means. Yep. Give a little bit of description here for our listeners and our viewers.
Yeah, it does a job of taking yards, which can often lack context, and adds the context to it. So, for example, throwing a 7-yard pass on 3rd down and 17 is not necessarily a positive play for an offense, but throwing a 7-yard pass on 3rd and 5 is, right? So one is going to have a higher expected points than the other. And so this gives us probably a sharper metric to look at passing efficiency, rather than something like yards per play.
Got it. All right. So there it is, the basic description. Again, on our website, all 32 teams. Today we're going to focus, though, a little bit about those top teams.
Yep.
Kind of give the example of this and who led the league last year, and then we'll look into 2019 as well. So starting with, I think we all could kind of have guessed it here. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah, it was a little bit closer. Early on in the season, the New Orleans Saints were a team that was, really good offensively, and then right around Thanksgiving, it sort of started to decrease for them. But Kansas City sort of led the way, and when you talk about most valuable player being the Patrick Mahomes, right? Like this offense is generating the most value throwing passes, and they do it in a very interesting way. I think people give Mahomes a little bit too much in terms of how risky he is, but he was second a season ago in limiting negatively graded throws. He's just terrific, and a lot of some turnover-worthy plays that weren't interceptions certainly helped them there. But really, what it was for Mahomes is just being accurate. Andy Reid scheming open throws, and Mahomes delivering to a bevy of great receivers there.
Yeah, so you talk about that MVP candidacy that he had. The other guy that he was competing with, he does it a little bit different.
Yep.
There's a distinct difference in the average depth of target for a guy like Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
He takes those risks. He avoids them nicely, though, at most stages of his young career to date so far. But number 2 on the list, the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, a guy like Drew Brees, he's been doing it year in, year out for as long as basically anybody can remember at this point. But he does it a little differently. They still ranked up there at number 2, though.
Yeah, only about 7.5 average depth of target, about 1.5 yards less than Mahomes. But as you said, they do it a lot differently. Brees led the league in limiting negatively graded throws a season ago, but he also had what we call a big-time throw rate that was 2 percentage points less than Mahomes. So what you're seeing is a lot of short passes. Michael Thomas after the catch, Alvin Kamara after the catch. Pretty impressive a season ago. They did it. Ted Ginn was injured for much of the season. They didn't really have a threat at tight end. Moving forward to 2019, you sort of have the Jared Cooks of the world. You have a healthy season of Ginn. You have Kamara. So I think offensively they're going to be pretty tough at doing these things that they did a season ago, just throwing short passes and converting them into passing yards.
Yeah, and Brees definitely has changed his game up a little bit, obviously, from that gunslinger mentality to more of a smart game manager, but he still gets the job done down the field. You see it. We have another 2 teams from the NFC South actually in our top 8. So we'll skip down, though, a team that I think kind of surprised people and our readers on the list. Number 8, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, and they've been in this spot for quite some time. I mean, characteristic of Tampa Bay, both their quarterbacks a season ago led the NFL collectively in average depth of target. So they're throwing the ball downfield. Deshaun Jackson's gone, but he was a deep threat. Both Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are guys who are down the field players. O.J. Howard's a fast tight end. They don't really throw the ball to their backs nearly as much as other teams do. So they're very much a down the field team. And a lot of the stuff that Jameis Winston does negatively is noise, interceptions, fumbles, things like that. What he does do, which is pretty good, is lead the league in percentage of positively graded throws. And so, that offense is generating a lot of expected points added. If they can limit some of the negative plays and their defense can get just a little bit better, we may see the fruits of that offensive efficiency in the passing game in 2019.
Yeah, so you speak about it. You've led me perfectly into that, to leading you. We recently guest spot on the Football Morning in America piece from Peter King.
Yep.
One of the 10 things we wrote that we think for the 2019 season is that Jameis Winston can lead the league in passing.
Yep.
Is that generated from this story, from the construction of this story, or is that just, where did that come from?
Yeah, it's because, that we have Jameis Winston, who is very good at doing good things in the passing game, coupled with Bruce Arians, who took a quarterback in Carson Palmer is very similar and got a few good seasons out of him, especially 2015, where Palmer was an MVP candidate. The Arizona Cardinals made the NFC title game. So we're looking at that and saying, okay, if you're going to find the perfect coach for a quarterback who has been sort of up and down during his career, but has a lot of talent. The Bruce Arians Tampa Bay Buccaneers marriage is a good one.
Well, we like it going forward. I think we like a couple of different players as well. We like Godwin and O.J. Howard to break out this year. Big things coming from there. There it is. That's just a couple of highlights from the top 16 teams. We'll be back later with 17 through 32 and a little bit of a different take for those teams here. But the rest of them, all 32 teams ranked on our website. Go check it out, pff.com. For Eric Eager, I'm Cam Mellor. We'll see you again.